I can give you an analogy. I don't remember who gave me this analogy, but it stuck with me. If you think about a rocket ship when it's going to space, right? It has the boosters. When it gets to a certain height, the boosters drop off. I don't know the correct term because I'm not in NASA, okay? But the boosters end up falling after a certain point because sometimes it's like people are just around for a certain time and like you can't get to that that ceiling, that height with them around, and they have to drop. People are not always going to be there, and they're not always meant to be there.
Some people are just meant to be there for a lesson or a chapter of your life, and that's it, and it's all good, right? Welcome back, episode 18 of the Black is the New Rich podcast. We have a very special guest today. She is a serial entrepreneur, and I consider her an expert in all her fields. But further ado, I do not like to introduce people. I like them to introduce themselves. Go ahead.
Hi guys, so my name is Elfie Balumbo, or you can call me Realtor Elf, helping you build wealth. Hey. I'm a real estate agent in the Toronto area, but I'm also the owner of the Beauty Elf.
Well, okay, so explain that. What is the beauty? What is the Beauty Elf?
So the Beauty Elf is my beauty business that I do micro shading, microblading, lashes. It's basically what started the whole entrepreneurship journey for me. Okay. And then I've also branched off, and now I have a hair growth oil that works amazing. Let's look at the results. Okay. All right. But yeah.
Okay, dope. So let's take it back. So you have a real estate agent.
Yeah.
You're in the beauty industry.
Yeah.
And you do microblading and all that stuff, right?
Yes.
Okay, cool. So let's take it back. Let's go back, like finishing high school. What were you doing?
Man, I think finishing high school. Sorry, where am I supposed to look? Can I look at you?
Yeah. You can look at me. Yeah. Don't worry.
Okay, where am I looking? Okay. Yeah. I want to say like finishing high school. First of all, it's like I'm African. So, you know, when you have African parents, it's like, you have to go to school. So it's like, you're kind of forced to just go to university, even though you don't know what you want to do. And I think this happens to a lot of people where you go to university and, you know, I have a major in criminology and, you know, my degree looks great on my wall, but that's all it's doing. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I mean, I've learned a lot from it, but coming out of high school, it's like, you don't really know what you want to do. But I just knew that I was very independent. I wanted to work for myself, you know?
So you wanted to be an entrepreneur from young.
Yeah.
But you took criminology.
Yeah.
Did you have any...
I had no idea what I wanted to do.
Did you have any intentions of like being...
I mean, I think like, because my parents were like pushing me, I'm like, okay, well, if I take criminology, like I was interested in like CBSA and things like that, but I was like, I'm just doing this to make my parents happy, like, you know, but it wasn't really my passion. I think I didn't find my passion for a long time, you know, and I think it's tough to find what your purpose is, like what you're meant to do. I think that's what I've struggled with, and I finally found it, and I feel good, and I think like I'm coming into like
your spot.
Yeah.
Okay, dope. Yeah. So let me ask you, like, if you could do, actually no, not if you could do school again, but let's say like you had kids, would you be pushing the post-secondary on them?
Honestly, no, but like you're not going to stay home and just chill out.
Yeah,
you know?
for sure.
I would definitely, I think obviously it's different because I come from immigrant parents. When you grow up here and you see all the opportunities, you're able to advise your children and like be more patient with them. When you come from an immigrant family, it's like they don't want you to go through what they had to go through to come here. So they want to push school upon you. So I think I'm going to be in a way better position than my parents were. Okay. So I'm going to be patient with my child. I'm going to help them discover because your passion is your purpose, right?
100%.
So I'm going to help them find what their passion is. You know, it won't take them until they're in their like 20s to find it, right?
Yeah. And do you feel like you're just now stepping into your purpose now?
I think it's been like that for the last 2-3 years.
Yeah.
But it's more so like having the mindset that like you believe in yourself, like you know this is it. You know, I think sometimes it's in the back of our heads. I believe that our purpose in life, we find that from our childhood. Like if you look back,
you think so?
Yeah, I think so. Because if you look back and think about your childhood, like things that you enjoyed doing, like they say a lot of artists, like when they were like 3, they were like drawing and stuff like that.
Even with this camera stuff, I was taking pictures when I was from young.
Exactly. And this is one of the things that my life coach, her name is Alexis Williams. She taught me this, is that to find your purpose, sometimes you have to dig back deep into like your childhood and like remember things that you enjoyed doing.
So what were you doing in your childhood?
Well, I feel like we did move around a lot. Yeah. And I remember I loved going like, even though like you're moving around, but it's like, it's, as an adult, moving around is not a good thing.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
But as a child, I was so excited. I'm like, oh my God, I can't wait to go see our new place. Like, I'm so excited and things like that. And then when I got the vision to do real estate during the pandemic, it really, like, I was like, damn, like, this makes sense. Like, you know, when I was having my sessions with my life coach, like, I was like, oh man, this does make sense, you know? So anyone who's like struggling with their purpose, I would definitely say, like, think back to your childhood and what you enjoyed. And sometimes it just circles back and that's your purpose.
This episode is sponsored by Black is the New Rich Clothing. Aren't you tired of brands taking your cool and not giving back? Rich in spirit, rich in body, rich in wealth. Breathe it, live it, wear it. Black is the New Rich.
It's like, you know,
okay,
it's already written for you. God has already written it.
I believe that too. I believe everything is written and you just fulfill your own destiny.
Absolutely.
Dope. So you mentioned that you have a life coach.
Yeah.
What got you into having a life coach? Because I don't hear many actually females saying, oh, I gotta have a life coach.
Yeah.
How did that come about?
Well, I think that sometimes when you find someone that you connect with and you feel comfortable with, for me, the way it happened is like, she just happened to be a life coach. But the minute I met her, we instantly connected.
Yeah.
And like, it's like a soul connection. You know what I mean? Like, sometimes you just feel like good energy from people. Like, I'm very aware, like self-awareness is huge for me. When you have that, you're able to connect with people on a deeper level. But in terms of the life coaching thing, I think everyone needs somebody to listen to them, who's not going to judge them, who's not going to, you know, be biased.
It's like a therapist almost?
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah,
it's a form of therapy for sure, 100%.
Dope.
But I also like to keep in mind that at the end of the day, only you know what's best for yourself. So you don't want to use it as a crutch either. It's great to have therapy and to have help. But one thing that my life coach always tells me is you don't want to just be relying on that person, right? 100%. You want to be able to learn the tools that you've gained from your life coach or your therapist and actually implement it to where you can give those insights and those tools that you learn to other people and like be okay. You can still check in once in a while. I still check in once in a while. Yeah. But like, I feel like I've done a lot of work to where I'm good.
So you don't need her anymore.
No, I wouldn't say I don't need her anymore, but I feel like her job, she did a great job.
Okay, dope. Shout out to her. Dope. So you grew up with biracial parents. Your dad is Congolese and your mom is?
Yeah, so my dad's Congolese and my mom is Romanian.
How was that growing up, the biracial thing?
I think, oh man, it was hard.
Talk about it.
I think being biracial is hard. It's kind of an identity crisis, honestly, because when especially if you're raised by your mom mostly. My mom's white. Okay. Like, you know, my mom did a good job. Like, you know, she always tried to do my hair the best that she could. Like, you know, like she was a great mother. But there's certain things to where it's like, you know, like there's friction there. You know what I mean? Yeah. But at the same time, I think like when my mom back then, my mom would pick me up from school, people thought I was adopted.
Oh, really?
Yeah, like, you know? Yeah. So things like that, when you're a child, it's like, when you get older and you understand, you're like, oh, that's why people are acting like this. Like, you know what I mean? Yeah. But it's definitely a struggle because sometimes like, obviously white people view you as black and black people be like, oh, you're the white girl at the family function, you know? Yeah. So it's like, it's kind of like, where do I fit in? But it wasn't until, I think growing up, anyone who knows me, like when I was in high school, elementary school, I was very quiet. Like I still had my super loud laugh, but I was always super quiet until like I got to university. That's when I really got into my personality and I'm like, okay, now I don't care. I want it to be perfect. I just want to live my life. You know? So yeah, it's hard coming into yourself, like, you know?
Did you feel like in your friend group, like, let's say like you have like your black friends, like you were saying, like you're not black enough, and then your white friends, like they identify you as being black. Was that like a tough situation?
Yeah, because sometimes I feel like, you know, when I'm with my black friends and stuff, they're like, oh, well, like you're white, like, you know, or like, it's like, I don't know how to explain that, or like just certain things.
You didn't
like,
feel accepted at either group.
Right. And after a while I was like, okay, I don't really care. I'm just going to do my own thing. Like, that's why I think I'm very independent from having that kind of identity crisis. It's like, okay, well, this group is like, okay, well, you're black, and then this group's like, okay, well, you're white. I'm gonna just do my own thing. So that's why, like, even from now, like, I do everything by myself, and I have no problems. Like, I will go to the restaurant and eat by myself. Like, I do not care. You know.
Dope. So, what was that like change? What was that like transition point where you stopped caring about those things? Like, what was happening?
It wasn't for a while. Yeah, like, I would say probably like my second year of university.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Shit. So what was like going through your mind? You're like, you know what? I'm done with this. Like, what was going through your mind?
I think it's just like, as you get older, you know, you learn more. I think it was really just my self-awareness, you know, and realizing like, I'm Elfie at the end of the day. It doesn't matter if I'm half this, half that. Like, you know, at the end of the day, we're all the
child
human.
of God first.
Yeah. That's right. Thank you, Jesus. Praise God.
Okay. Dope. So you said you began your entrepreneur journey with the beauty industry, right?
Yeah.
How long ago was that?
So I started my beauty business in 2017.
Okay, dope. So what started you to kickstart that?
So when I was in university, I worked like 3 jobs, you know, like I've always been a hustler. And my manager, she was amazing. I worked at Pandora. I was in jewelry sales, like, you know, top sales, just saying. But I was like really good at it. Like, you know, I love making people feel good about themselves, like especially women. And she went on mat leave, and I'm sorry, but the next manager, she was just doing too much for me.
Yeah.
Like, I think that when you're in a management role, it's important to give your employees that space to like learn and like grow.
Make their mistakes.
Yeah. And just like, don't be on them. Like, you know, like don't be a dictator. Like that's one thing that it does not work. I feel like when you find like in anything, in human resources, in like any field, the most effective managers are the ones that really just delegate and let their employees just do what,
grow.
You know? Yeah.
Figure it out.
And so the next one was not like that. And I was like, listen, I'm good. You know?
Yeah.
So I left, and then I started my beauty business because I noticed a lot of the girls that were coming to Pandora, they all had their lashes done. And I was like, oh, like, you know, I was so curious. I'm like, okay, this must be something. So then I researched it, and I realized like, okay, the profits are really good. Mind you, this was like 2017. There wasn't that many lash
now
techs.
It's crazy.
Yeah, now it's crazy. Now I'm brow tech. I'm not a lash tech. Okay? But that's how it started.
Okay, dope. So you're in the beauty business, and then you start your hair oil company. How does that?
So the hair oil company actually recently started. So it's only been a year.
Okay, dope.
It started in the pandemic. So I was renting a studio, and pandemic happened. Obviously, beauty services weren't happening. I also worked corporate. Okay. I worked at an investment firm.
Okay. Dope.
So I was working from home, and then obviously it was not my passion. So it's tough to only be working your corporate job, and like, you know, it's very draining, especially in the financial industry. It's, you know, if you make a mistake, it's a big deal. You know, you're dealing with finances and things like that. So I needed like an escape, and I was like, well, my beauty business was my escape. I would work corporate, and then I would go to the shop, and then weekends I'd be at the shop.
Then the pandemic happens.
And then I've been having my hair growth oil for like years from when I was in university. And then I was like, people would always ask me about it. And during the pandemic, I'm like, why don't I just sell this? Okay, I got all this time in the world. Like, why not?
Yeah.
So I already had the formula. So I just got the bottles, I got the labels. And like my first month, I sold like $5,000 worth of hair oil.
Well, damn.
Yeah, no, it was good. Like, but I was putting my focus into it, and like, you know, it was the only thing that I had to do.
Yeah.
Because I'm so used to having a lot of things going on. So it's like, I couldn't just sit and be miserable about my corporate job.
Yeah.
You know?
So during the corporate job, you're not working there anymore, right?
No.
So that transition from corporate to like full-time entrepreneurship, take me through that transition, because I feel like that's a hard and scary jump for a lot of people.
No, it definitely is. I think that everything that's happened in my life has been a part of my journey. Like, it was necessary. Because like I said, like, I came to Canada as a refugee. So I didn't have parents who could tell me about finances and teach me what TFSA is, what RSPs are, like teach me what mutual funds
you
are.
have to teach them.
Yeah, you know, which is okay. Everybody, you know, has a different story. And I think that the investment firm was very crucial in my life, because it taught me a lot, you know, and I'm super thankful for the experience. It just, when I started working there, I've always envisioned myself in like business clothes, and like, you know, when I got there, exactly. And when I got there, I was like, okay, the look is there, but something is just not feeling right. You know, it just wasn't my passion. I didn't go to school for finances. I was very thankful for the opportunity. It was amazing. I learned a lot. But I knew when the time was like, you know, when you have a feeling when it's like, okay, this chapter is, we're good. This book is complete.
Yeah, 100%.
I'm ready to move on. And I believe in myself so much that I didn't care that it was a pandemic.
And you said,
if my soul does not feel good, I can't continue.
Keep going. Yeah, I'm the exact same way.
I can't go against my soul, because
that's the funk.
If you go against your soul, you're going against God. And sorry, I praise the
Okay.
Yeah.
So then you just made that jump and you said, you know what, F it. Let's dive into this entrepreneur thing, and you had your beauty business going.
Yeah.
So take me through your your pandemic experience, because I know, like, talking off camera, you said you were going through some things. How was that?
Yeah, I think the pandemic, well, I learned a lot from the pandemic. But I think the pandemic, the beginning of it was hard for me. I went through moments of depression. I'll say moments because you never want to say I'm depressed. You never want to claim that over your life. And I think for people, it's so easy to claim these negative things into their life. And we don't realize we're doing it. So that's why I'll say I went through moments of depression. And that's where I really started diving deeper into like who I am as a person, what I believe in, what, you know, where I see myself, you know, just my higher self. And then also I was talking to my therapist. Like I had 2 therapists at the time.
Oh, dope.
And you know, it helped me a lot.
Did you, going through that like healing journey, did you realize that there's some dark days? Because for me, for like the pandemic, it really shaped my whole mind. Like, this is how this podcast came about in the pandemic.
Beautiful.
But I realized like during that time, there's like some super dark days that I had to deal with. Did you have the same?
Yeah, absolutely. Like during the pandemic, I think a lot of thoughts of like my father passing away had come back to me, which I never really dealt with, you know? So that was really...
And now you have all this time
in the world to think about all these things that have happened, you know? And like, I think the pandemic was good because it's the first time that we were calm. Like the world had to stop.
Yes.
And what I learned from it is that there's so much power from calmness, some stillness. Exactly. And like there's so much power in being calm, and that's why like even me as a person, I think it's changed me, because before I would like get so frustrated fast, or I would get super like irritable quick, and now I'm always in a good mood. You cannot mess up my vibe. Okay. I don't care, like always in a good mood.
Okay, dope. So you mentioned that your father passed, right? So how was dealing with his death? Like, how did you deal with that? Because that's such a tough death to deal with. How was that?
Honestly, I didn't.
Oh.
Like, it was kind of like, it just kind of like never happened. And we just...
What do you mean by that? Never happened?
It happened, and it was one of those things where like, I couldn't do anything about it. At the time, I wasn't Canadian. So it's like, it's not like I could go to the funeral.
Because he died back home.
Yeah. So it's like, you know, my mom didn't really talk, but like no one really talked. It's like, it just happened and just...
Okay, that's it.
Next day, we just keep moving. And that's hard.
That's different.
Yeah. And I'm not to blame anyone at all. Of course, like we're all going through things, but yeah, it was hard. When you don't talk about things, it's hard, right?
Yeah.
But I think the key to helping me, and what I realized too, to get over death, and I'm speaking on this because a lot of people have experienced a lot of death during the pandemic, is their soul is still here. So I still write my dad letters.
Oh, dope.
I talk to my dad all the time. I think that helps. Like they're still there, you know, they're still watching you. And like, I think now I realize I just continue as if he's here.
Okay.
You know?
Okay. Dope. So what are some like mindful practices that you picked up during the pandemic?
Meditation.
Me too.
I love meditation. I read a book by Dr. Joe Dispenza, which my life coach recommended to me. It's called Becoming Supernatural. It is so amazing. It has changed my whole mindset, my whole life, the way I think. Basically, he's a neuroscientist. He studies like quantum fields, and he just talks about limitless mindsets and like limitless possibilities, and basically rewiring your brain to think a certain way. And I feel like in my mind, when I think about things, and that if you actually put your mind to it, it happens. And like 100%. I've been practicing it, and it works. Like it works. No, it's crazy. It works. So I think that's been a big part of changing my mindset and like helping me just be better in every way. Okay,
dope. So you're a big believer of manifestation, obviously.
Yes.
Right? Okay, dope.
God too.
But
not, you know, there's different levels of manifestation. Yeah. I am on the godly side. Okay.
Okay, fair.
Yeah.
Take me through navigating through your bad days, because obviously we still have them. What do you do these days navigating through those bad days or tough times or moments?
I think one thing that is so important is self-care. Taking care
what does
of yourself.
That look like?
Self-care for me, I work out 5 days a week. I think it's so important. It not only mentally, but look good, feel good. Super important. I do my face mask. I take time to myself. I stretch, meditation, and I pray. I use my Bible app every morning, every night. Some days you might skip a little, but God knows where my heart is.
Yeah.
But those things have truly helped me to be better, and like being comfortable with being alone. You don't always need to be with people. Like enjoy your own company.
Yeah,
like drink wine, like put your robe on, like feel good about yourself.
Take yourself out to dinner. Take yourself out to the movie. Dude.
No, exactly. And so for me, it's self-care, and it just makes you feel so much better.
Okay. Dope. I'm a big believer on self-care too. And I'm a big believer on doing things on your own. Like I'm not a person that always has to be surrounded by company, because I feel like the people that are always surrounded have to be with someone. Like there's something that they're missing inside. And I just feel like self-care and stillness is super, 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 super important.
Oh, absolutely. Even like I can give you an analogy. I don't remember who gave me this analogy, but it stuck with me. We think about a rocket ship when it's going to space, right? It has the boosters, but when it gets to a certain height, the boosters drop off. I don't know the correct term because I'm not in NASA, okay? But the boosters end up falling after a certain point because like sometimes it's like people are just around for a certain time and like you can't get to that ceiling, that height with them around, and they have to drop. And that's why I like to pinpoint like being okay with being alone, doing things on your own, is super important because people are not always going to be there, and they're not always meant to be there,
Some people are just meant to be there for a lesson or a chapter of your life, and that's it, and it's all good, right? Okay, so let's talk about finding your purpose, because for me personally, I feel like I found my purpose kind of later, like, especially with this stuff. I feel like I'm finally in my stride,
Yeah, congratulations.
Thank you,
That's
thank
beautiful.
you, appreciate it. Like it took me a while to get here, but for you finding your purpose, like what were some indicators, and how can you help others that are like, what, I just don't know what I'm passionate about? How can you help them?
Honestly, for the longest time, even growing up, I thought I had no talent.
Really?
I swear, no talent. My sister could play basketball. She could sing. My cousins were good. They're artistic, good at hair. Like I felt like everyone had a skill. My brother's super smart. Like, everybody had a skill. And I felt like I was just mediocre at everything. Like I was good, but like not great. And it wasn't until like probably the last like 4 years that I felt like, damn, like I'm talented. I'm good at this. I'm good at that. I'm good at that. Like, you can't tell me nothing, And it took a while, but I will say like even the real estate, it was really just connecting with God. Like the real estate, I'm not even joking. I sound crazy, but it was a vision from God. And that's how I know that this is what I'm supposed to be doing. And like, I think that for me too, one of my talents is like just being that energy, like that brightness in somebody's life. Like no matter what I'm doing, no matter where I'm always nice to everyone, because you never know, like a smile can literally change someone's life. And I really, really believe in that.
100%. So you basically tapped into yourself by just being more you. Yeah.
And like connecting with God, I think that's huge to me. Like if you don't believe in God, I'm so sorry. Like I love you, but like you can't be like this with me. You can't. It's just no offense, but it just doesn't work for me.
So would you say you're a religious person, spiritual person? How does your faith
I would
work?
say I'm a spiritual person because I think that sometimes, I mean, all the religious people, sorry, don't crucify me, but I just feel like I would say I'm spiritual because I'm not restricted to what religion says. Like, I still want to explore things. I still want to have an open mind because I think that religion is a little bit restrictive. Like, oh, if I want to wear a short skirt, like,
it's a little culty sometimes.
Don't put limitations on me. And I think that's what religion does. But spirituality is different. It's, like for me, church is anywhere I am. If I want to pray in my living room, that's where my church is. Exactly. And that's why I would say I'm spiritual.
Okay, dope. So talk to me about your biggest loss.
Yeah.
And how did you bounce back?
My biggest loss? Oh man. I wouldn't even consider it as a loss. I honestly just look at everything as lessons. My biggest loss.
Where you're like, damn, like I can't believe that happened, and you have to bounce back. It could be like, I don't know, a loss in money with business. It could be whatever. Like for example, I'll give you an example.
Okay.
episode 2, Ryan came up on here and he was a camera guy and he was doing a wedding, right? And he was shooting the bride or whatever, and he was taking steps back and fell into the water fountain.
Oh my God.
And lost everything. Camera, everything, footage, everything. And this is this person's
That's
wedding.
Devastating. Oh.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
So that was his biggest loss.
Oh my God. Thank God that hasn't happened to me.
Yeah, so if you have any losses, share them, please.
Honestly, I can't even think about it. I mean, I've been through a lot in my life.
So a difficult time that you bounce back from. That's not too personal.
Oh man. Our biggest loss.
Deals that never went through, real estate deals.
Oh man. Yeah,
let's talk about it.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, I wouldn't even say a loss because at the end of the day, I would never ever want to pressure my clients to buying a home if they didn't feel right. Because at the end of the day, for me, what's important is my relationship with my clients. So
100%.
If you don't feel right, listen, no problem. There's many houses, but yeah, there was a point where like I put in an offer on a deal. I thought everything was going to go through, and last minute, it just didn't feel right for my clients. And I respected that because at the end of the day, I want you to be so happy with my service that you recommend me to 10, 20, 30, maybe 40 of your friends. Yeah. So I don't really consider it a loss. But I have dealt with a lot of losses in my life for sure.
And you're always
on a personal level.
Yeah, always bouncing back.
You have to,
Yeah,
man.
you have to.
I mean, I was born in Congo, and I feel like a lot of people don't know that. So when you come from the mud, like literally.
At 5?
Yes.
Okay.
So I immigrated to Canada when I was 5. So when you come such a long way, you appreciate everything so much more. You work hard, like, it's like you can somebody and think like, oh, they have such a perfect life, but it's like, no, you really don't know what I've been through. And I've been through a lot in my lifetime that people probably won't experience, and that's just, I'm proud of that. I'm happy because 100%. I wouldn't be the person I am today if I didn't go through half of those things.
100%.
It's a lot.
So do you look at Canada like the promised land of a land of opportunities? Because I think I take it for like granted sometimes.
You Canadians do take it for granted. Okay, I'll tell you that. You guys do take it for granted. Absolutely. I mean, I just think that there's so much opportunity that I could never be at home and say, woe is me. My life is this, my life is that, because there's somebody out there who wishes they had your life, no matter how bad you think it is. Do you know what I mean? And to see that and to know like where I come from and where I'm going, it's like, man, I'm just happy.
Jeez, and you're killing it right now.
I'm trying.
You're killing it right now. I see the real estate. I see you pulling up on some luxury homes. I see that. Okay, dope. So let's talk about real estate for a second. How do you market yourself and how are you getting clients right now?
I would say obviously it's 2022. Social media is a huge thing.
Yeah.
So that's why I'm here today as well. Like, obviously I love what you're showing on your show. I love that you're being so real, and I think that we can all be a lot more authentic with our journey and 100%. Just enjoying it. It's not easy.
100%.
I'm in my 7th month of real estate.
Jeez.
Like, it's not easy for sure, but definitely I would say social media has been a big part, and also building relationships with other people who have who are in the industry and they're seasoned and like they're willing to like give you tips and tricks and like connecting with mentors, like not being afraid to ask for help.
Yeah.
Honestly, me, I have no shame. If I meet somebody, no, I'm telling you, if I meet somebody and I feel like this is a good person, this is like I feel the vibe from them and they're doing well, like I have no problem like, hey, listen, like, do you mind if I shadow you for like this or like?
Oh, really?
Closed mouths do not get fed.
Yeah,
that's true.
Bars. Okay.
Yeah, no, but it's true. Like, if you don't ask, how will you receive? Even like God tells us, if you do not ask God for what it is you want, you will not get it. And you have to be direct. So like I ask God all the time, God, I know you see me putting in work.
Okay, dope. Yeah,
God, dope. I know you see me.
Yeah.
So, I mean, if you just keep pushing, it's bound to happen. Like you said, you found me on Explore page, right?
Yeah. I was scrolling. I'm like, this girl has 3 business. Let me shoot my shot. All right, now we're here.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah, you're absolutely right. Dope. So when it's all said and done, right? What type of impact do you want to leave?
Oh man, I want someone to be around me and be like, damn, like she just like touched my soul. Like she just made me, I learned something from her. Like it doesn't even have to be anything like, like financial or like, or about houses. Just learning certain habits or characteristics. Like for me, my character is the most important thing.
100%.
If you can learn something from me that will stay with you for life,
100%.
That's how I want to impact people, you know?
Yeah.
And like, I'm not just a pretty face. You know, like I have so much more to offer, and I think that I like to touch people's souls.
I like that. I like that. Okay, for someone that's super independent, right? You have 3 businesses, you live on your own. How does someone come into your life and keep that up?
I look for 2 things. One, I look for leadership. You have to be a leader because I do consider myself an alpha female, and you have to be an alpha male. I'm sorry, you do. For me to be able to, for me, I have no problems with letting a man lead. That is amazing. I think it's beautiful. And I believe in being in your feminine energy. That's very important.
Do you feel like a lot of women are like overcompensating right now?
I think that a lot of successful women are in their masculine energy a lot. And that's why sometimes you see successful women being single, because they're giving too much of that masculine energy. Like, I realize that I love to be my feminine energy, but in order for me to do that majority of the time, I need somebody who's a great leader.
You want to feel safe, right?
Yes. And the second thing I look for is honesty. Listen, I am very understanding. I put myself in other people's shoes. I understand certain lifestyles, but just be transparent. That's all I ask for. You could literally tell me anything, even if you think it's crazy, but the fact that you're honest,
you can respect that.
Yeah,
100%.
We'll see if we can make it work.
Yeah.
I'm just joking. But like I'm very understanding. The only thing I don't respect is liars.
Yeah, me too. Because I'm a brutal truth person. Like, even I rather the brutal truth, let it hurt me, kill my chest.
Exactly.
And then we'll deal with it from there.
Yeah, and those 2 things I look for, and I think once I have those 2, then okay. We'll see. We'll see what it does, you know?
Yeah, for sure. Okay, dope. So these 2 questions I ask everybody on the podcast. I want to know, what's the best advice that you've gotten and what's the worst advice that you've gotten? And you don't have to mention any names.
Okay, the worst advice I've gotten is, it's too good to be true.
The worst advice?
Yeah, the worst advice I've gotten is someone saying like, oh, this is too good to be true, be careful, blah, blah. It is not too good to be true. I am a woman of God, okay? If you see an opportunity and it's great and you feel it and you believe in it,
go for it.
It's not too good to be true, because like there's been so many times in my life that I've seen something that I'm like, people will probably be like, this is too good to be true. And I'm like, no, I feel it. I'm going for it. Yeah, and it exactly limiting beliefs, and I follow through with my intuition, and it has been a blessing. There's so many examples in my life, those too good to be true scenarios, and I'm like, no, thank the good Lord I listened to myself.
Yeah,
you know?
I like that. I like that. And your best advice?
Best advice. My best advice definitely would have. My best advice. I would say, my best advice is living in the present moment. I think a lot of people forget to live in the present moment, and I can honestly say
it's hard.
It's
because you're always thinking about your future, your past, what happened, and we're right here right now.
And people don't realize, like, depression comes from thinking about your past, 100%. And anxiety is from thinking about your future too much. Like, even for myself, I can say the last minus the last 2 years before that, I was not living in the present. I don't even have great recollection of my past because I wasn't present. And I think that the best advice for me was living in the present moment and enjoying it, breathing, like, you know, like, we're just here. Like I'm enjoying your presence. I'm enjoying what we're talking about. I'm enjoying your passion. Like, you know, just like feel the moment and go with it, you know, just
okay. So
enjoy the day.
Yeah.
Even God says, you know, today's day has already, it's enough troubles, you know, don't worry about tomorrow. Live today.
100%. So living in the present moment, because that's something I've struggled in the past, because always thinking about the future, what's coming, what am I doing, this
be on your phone doing deals, like for a second you just need to just be present,
be still.
Be still.
Okay, dope. So on this show we like to make predictions, right? So in 5 years I'm gonna play it back and I'm like, Elfie did say that. Where do you see yourself in 5 years?
5 years, oh my gosh. 5 years, I'm definitely top realtor in the city.
Gang, top realtor in the city.
Top 1%, luxury real estate. Realtor Elf, it's always here to help people build wealth. And in 5 years from now, I'm telling you, the wealth is going to be amazing. Okay, dope. So top 1%, 5 years. Yeah. You heard it here first. Absolutely.
All right, cool. So
maybe a little TV personality.
Honestly, you have it too.
You can't, you know, sometimes you tell God, I want to be a millionaire, but maybe God wants you to be a billionaire.
Yeah.
You just shortchanged yourself, right?
Bars.
You don't know. So,
bars. Okay, I like
whatever
that.
God has for me, 5 years, I know it's gonna be crazy.
Okay, I like that. So, let everybody know where they can contact you and give out your information.
Yeah, for sure. So you can contact me. My Instagram is at Elfie Balumbo. Also, you can email me at Elfie.
Explore page.
You can email me at elfie@realtorelf.com if you need help with leasing, investing, buying, selling. I got you. And if you need to grow your hair like this, baby, let me tell you. My Instagram is The Beauty Elf. Or if you want to buy my hair growth oil, it's thebeautyelf.oil.
Gang.
And this is all real, by the way.
Okay, I'm gonna need some of that.
No, it's so good for braids. I'm telling you, it's a game changer. Like, it has all the amazing natural oils like castor oil, peppermint oil,
and it smells good. I hear.
And it smells amazing.
Okay.
No, you don't be laying up beside nobody. No. No. And that's how I formulated my hair growth oil. You know. Yeah.
Okay, dope. Any last words for anybody?
I think that the most important thing in life is to really believe in yourself. Like, believe it to where nobody can tell you nothing. Because right now, nobody can tell me anything. I know where I'm going. My path is clear, and finding that clear path and that focus in your mind and imagining it before it happens, that's the secret, you know?
Okay.
And I'm not where I want to be, but you know,
it's you're getting
we're there. I'm there.
Yeah,
I'm there.
Okay,
I'm
dope.
there for sure.
Dope. Episode 18, Black is the New Rich.
Yes.
Thank you guys. And that's a wrap. Thank you for coming. Gang.
Everything black on black. Nigga, if I started that